We gather here today not to mourn, but to celebrate the beautiful but unnecessarily brief life of comprehensive voting rights and progressive voting legislation. For some, the right to vote unimpeded can be remembered back as far as 1790. For most, that right is a far more recent memory. From 1790 until May 19, 2011, voters' rights have had many shining moments. The people were there in 1810 when the last religious prerequisite was eliminated. We were also there in 1850 when property ownership and tax requirements were no longer necessary to defend our beloved rights. In 1870, we, the people, continued to form a more perfect union and rose to the defense of our dear friends. We passed the 15th Amendment aimed at allowing our African-American brothers to experience the allure of the voting process. When 1915 brought us Swin versus the United States, we moved to outlaw literacy tests aimed at preventing blacks and Irish Catholics from voting. Then, in 1920, something truly wonderful happened. Those who sought to put an end to the current oppression reached out to grab an olive branch extended by an alliance of the formerly oppressed. It was only with this newly built coalition of people, dedicated people, the true freedom fighters, that holy crap. I feel like I'm missing one. Whatever. A fellowship that pledged allegiance for liberty and justice for all, that our female counterparts, those who grant the privilege of life to us all, achieve the right to vote. With this newly found impetus, the now obvious concept of comprehensive voting rights began to roll. From the 1924 Indian Citizenship Act, granting voting rights to Native Americans, to the 24th Amendment banning poll taxes in 1964, true equality, including representation in our governing body, was on the rise. This momentum led to wonderful patriots such as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. mounting a voter registration drive in Selma, Alabama that drew national attention to African American voting rights. The attention advanced the Voting Rights Act, which was expanded in 1970, 1975, and 1982. With the 26th Amendment in 1971 and the Dunn versus Blue Medine Supreme Court ruling of 1972, we ensured that those old enough to make the ultimate sacrifice for their country, for our country, were legally able to vote, and no voter should be subject to unnecessarily lengthy residence requirements. Even as recently as 1995, our government continued to make progress in voting legislation. The